Okay, this is about types of motors, and I'd like to cover this real quick. This cutout right here in the middle, okay, that allows you to set the motor inside is for the sake of allowing the motor to fit far enough in there, or down in the PullerInstaller, so that you can press these flywheels back on once they get to the point where you can't push them on by hand anymore on reinstallation, okay? Otherwise the cutout wouldn't be there, right? I wouldn't even need it. But we all need that because you're going to run into different flywheels that are going to have different properties on reinstallation. This one, the reason why the cutout is so large is because this particular motor has a star pattern connection for the wiring, okay, on this motor. And if I turn it, you see the silver part right there where I was pointing, on the next to the commutator, and that area at the commutator is where the brushes, or these round tabs top and bottom touch, okay, those brushes. So when you put this in the tool, if the hole's not big enough, it won't sit down inside and allow you to push, you know, and have enough room to put your whole apparatus, motor, assembly together. And you've got to have that room. As you can see, now this is the RTR I had so much trouble with, still showing it. I just got through using some this glue, which is a different glue from the other day. I'm using this, and I used this overnight, let it sit, held the flywheels in place solidly, and it was still removable. I'm trying different things to see what works, okay? So when you put these in the tool, to remove them, they have to sit on the tool, and it does. But you have to make sure it's sitting there. Common sense prevail, but some people don't know the difference because they've never done it before, so you have to tell people, all right, just in case they don't get it. This one doesn't have those stars on the brush side where the commutator is, okay? All right, so this motor is different than this motor, and yet they're both Athearn motors, okay? Over time, they change their motors. Over time, I've changed my puller. I have never tested the puller on Cottos, MTH, Lionel, Broadway Limited. Golly, I can't even think of all the ones that are out there. But anyway, I've tested on Athearn Blue Box and Atlas Yellow Box. That's what I advertise on eBay. I do that because that's the rules that eBay sets down for us. Although I tested this on this RTR motor, the difficulty I had pulling it, and I show in the other video how to do that, and I tell you in the instructions also, only is there, and I'm only doing that so that somebody that has that problem can deal with it and hopefully be as successful as I was. But I will not advertise the tool for that because I cannot guarantee that it's going to come off every time. And I've never tested the other motors that one man was complaining about the other day. He used his PullerInstaller on a Cotto, late model apparently, and couldn't get it off and damaged his PullerInstaller. And now he's so mad at me, he's threatened to make a video and explain how his now damaged PullerInstaller is not pulling anything off or whatever. He told me it's damaged. I've got all the emails that's in the eBay messaging. You know, the guy admits it. And I can't explain people like that. I just can't. You know, he's mad because he didn't get a split washer. Well, I wasn't selling the tool with the split washer at the time. That's just another thing that evolved over time. You know, when somebody gets a blender and is making methamphetamines and it blows up in their face, they can't sue the blender manufacturer because it blew up in their face. It's not the blender manufacturer's fault it was misused. If you're misusing this tool, if you're doing anything more than turning it by hand to get your flywheel off, if you're using something to purposely, you know, force it in, and you're damaging the tool, okay, or whatever, that's inappropriate, and you can't do that. I use it by hand, I demonstrate it by hand, and that's all I do is use it by hand. I don't use it with anything else. It's not necessary. An Athearn Blue Box flywheel will come off with hand pressure. And that's basically all I got to say about it. you know, enjoy your hobby.